On a quiet Friday in calculus, a panicked voice cut through the speakers. This is not a drill. The room is ordinary, the hour familiar, the season almost free. A seventh period on the edge of spring break. A teacher who is relaxed enough to turn a brand logo quiz into a gentle race against time. Students lean over keyboards, argue softly over the answer. Adidas. Then the voice arrives. The dean sounds strained, a command rides the air, and the routine collapses. Lights click off, desks are abandoned, a back corner becomes a refuge, and a buzzing hum in a rear panel goes still, as if the building itself holds its breath. Time stretches. 2 minutes feel swollen with weight. The quiet is not empty. It is listening. Down the hallway, a new sound gathers. A voice, then a shout. Not words, but force. Someone is screaming and not stopping. The sound grows louder, gains edges, throws fear ahead of it like a shadow. 2 girls begin to cry, and the tears are not private. They spread through the room, through the ribs of everyone who hears them, amplifying dread. Metal vibrates under fists in the corridor. Lockers take the blows. A promise of violence rips from the throat in the hall. I will kill all of you. The banging shifts, and now the door itself takes the hits. A word escapes a student who cannot contain it. No. The knocking becomes pounding. The voice becomes command. Open up. Minutes expand and slow as each strike repeats. Then the sound moves on. The footsteps retreat down the corridor, carrying the threat with them until it thins and drifts away. When the voice returns to the speaker, it carries an explanation that is brief and sharp. A man, described by staff as unstable, has entered the building. A woman at the front desk was assaulted, fled, and staff do not know if the man is armed. There are no cameras yet in this school. Security is thin. A sweep of hallways and classrooms finds no one. The order comes to resume class, to keep doors locked, and to keep every student inside. This is learning stripped to the bone. Sit, stay, wait. That night, a janitor finds a man sleeping in a storage closet near the back of the school. Rumors run the length of the building by morning. Students say a heavy handgun was seen in a pocket. By the time police arrive, the sleeper is gone. The students never learn if that man is ever found. The unknown settles over the story like dust. A different campus, a different hour. Rain clouds flatten the sky. It is early October, a season that can taste like renewal or like worry. A middle school runs on 2 lunch periods, 6th graders and some 7th graders in the first, the rest later. The first lunch is in full swing when sound cracks through the day. 4 booms. To one ear they are thunder, to many others they are alarm. Screams rise and swell. Within moments, security staff move. They do not argue with the weather. They do not debate the source. They direct. They shout orders. They corral hundreds of bodies and voices into the multipurpose room. The space is vast, a hall built to gather. Its back wall is made of glass. In an instant, the glass becomes a liability. Curtains sweep across. Adults fill doorways. A line of students holding trays is told to abandon lunches and move. The room grows thicker with breath and whispered questions. Curiosity flickers across faces. A friend named Eric goes to ask what is happening and returns with words that chill. There are houses in front of the school. A man is at one. He has barricaded himself. He is threatening to end his life. He is threatening to kill police if he is evicted. He has been walking near the school and watching children. Eric says adults told him the man is a registered sex offender. The students stay in that room for an hour that expands and hums. There is no lesson plan for this waiting. There is only containment. When the situation stabilizes, the release is careful. Students are escorted back to class, one group at a time. The story does not end at the door. Later, a friend named Brandy tells her neighbor's tale. On the previous Halloween, she saw that same man at his window. He was cutting his arm and writing in blood on the glass, "Do not come here, or I will kill you." It looked like a seasonal performance then. After the barricade, it reads as warning. This is a neighborhood that looks ordinary from the curb. This is a school that sits within it like a heartbeat. Elsewhere, a graduate returns to familiar walls. 22 years old and proud, he carries keys and passwords and the memory of teachers who saw promise in him. The job sits underground, in a basement that hides a small office carved from clutter. This room is a refuge for machines and people, a rare cold in a building without air conditioning. There are 3 desks, 2 mini-fridges, a television fixed to a wall. Servers hum behind the scenes. There is no door on the office. The basement entrance has a handle that does not lock. A call lands from the front office. Lockdown. Someone possibly armed has entered the school. Lights are extinguished in the small room, and the glow of a monitor dies. 2 colleagues are upstairs and do not answer their phones. He waits, feeds his focus into the screen of a phone, tries not to listen. He is told not to make calls. He counts the minutes without saying the number aloud. The basement door opens with a sound that can be heard. Footsteps cut across the concrete and approach. He leaves the chair and folds himself beneath a desk. The office remains dark. The air thickens, charged by the knowledge that someone is here. Breathing becomes a balance between silence and survival. The phone in his hand dings. The sound is small and bright. It is also far too loud. Feet move toward him. The presence steps closer. He bursts from hiding and surrenders his fear into speech, pleading for his life. The answer arrives as a hand that pulls him up and a voice in calm tones. "I am hiding with you. What is happening upstairs?" The man is dressed in red plaid, in jeans, in a cap that echoes the color. He asks about exits. He asks for a path out. He explains that he came to pick up his son and a teacher told him to hide. A new message glows on the phone. It is from a friend named Dave upstairs. It carries facts like heavy stones. A man with a gun has shot a teacher named Mr. Buckley. The shooter is described in red shirt and hat. "Do not come upstairs." The words slide into meaning. The gaze lifts to the figure in front of him. The shirt, the cap. The shape of the moment changes. The silence between 2 humans tightens. Instinct answers before thought finishes forming. He runs for the stairs. A gunshot cracks behind him. The bullet skips off metal in the dark. He drives himself upward. He does not look back. The world narrows to steps and a door and light. At the exits above, police are waiting. They have sealed the doors, including the one from the basement. When the man in red pushes through, they take him. Later, relief arranges the facts into a line. The teacher survives the wound. The shooter is in custody. It is said that there was a conflict between the 2 men, though no details are shared. What remains are the textures of the moment. The jolt of a text message in the dark. The image of a red shirt in a doorway. The echo of a shot that rings and fades and returns in memory. 3 schools, 3 interruptions written into ordinary days, 3 lockdowns bound by similar threads, a voice in a speaker, a door made heavy by a bolt, a room turned from open space into shelter. Students and staff do not practice for the emotions that fill these spaces. They listen. They wait. They think about the slight hinge and thin glass that separate safety from risk. In the first school, an office worker is assaulted at a desk meant for greetings. Staff do not know if there is a weapon. They sweep and find nothing. A janitor later discovers a sleeping man. Rumors of a firearm crawl through the halls. In the second school, a community faces a barricade only feet from its entrance. A boy returns with frightening words from an adult at a door. In the third school, a graduate sees his old halls through new eyes. An office without a door becomes a refuge too open for comfort. A text in a moment of quiet becomes a lifeline. These are not stories about heroes striding across a spotlight. These are accounts of teachers and students and staff inhabiting seconds that swell into minutes. They are accounts of doors that hold, of curtains that turn glass to shadow, of adults placing themselves at exits. They are stories of guided restraint. They are records of events that rose quickly, then settled without giving every answer. When the hallways fall silent, every sound is weighted. When normal fades, the human world contracts to the people next to you, to a corner of a room, to the voice on a loudspeaker. These accounts do not speculate about what is not known. They show what is. A class that stops a game to crouch together in darkness. A cafeteria that becomes a shelter with its own horizon. A basement where a single chime becomes a warning. Then the voice that calls all clear, the measured release through supervised doors, the slow return to motion. There is no single lesson offered by these moments, only a record of how ordinary lives met the extraordinary. Students at desks, staff behind counters, a young professional at his post. Their words carry what happened. A day that began like any other and ended changed. A warning that broke the air. A choice to hold still. A choice to run. And a determination to remember, because for those who lived it, the echoes do not vanish when the doors unlock and the lights come back on.